Hello guys, and welcome to KlausGaming. It's time to play Her Story Part 4. Let's see if we can solve this mystery and see if she's crazy or she actually has a twin. So in the last episode I searched for police. So let's check out the first video.
When will the police let me back in the house? They let me take a bag of clothes with me, but...
Bag of clothes? I guess that's not too important, but let's just search anyway. So back to the last police video, let's check it out.
1984. It was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. The forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It was just awful.
That's interesting. There's two names there we didn't know about. Doug, Eleanor, and she also mentioned some forensics. So let's try and search for Doug. There's a lot of videos. Check out the first one.
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them.
Nothing new there.
I hoover, I dust every week, maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust and she said, if people asked, tell them you do it once a week, but every few weeks is okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there she was hoovering every day, ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is, putting on a brave front. She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books. Cigarettes inside. And she still has them. I mean, last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years of marriage. And she still has a secret like that.
Well, I think she has a secret of her own. Let's check out the last video.
Okay. I parked up in the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in, Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly in the living room, nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Alright, so that was how she entered the house, I guess, when Simon was murdered and in the basement. Let's search for forensic. And Eleanor. There's one more video.
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
Well, she spilled a cup of coffee. Let's hope it wasn't hot. I remember from the last episode she talked about a blonde wig. So let's try that. That's nothing. Neighbor? Well, she said the midwife was a neighbor, I think.
Yeah. They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
Well, she might have killed them herself with the mushrooms. But part of her alibi, I think, is that she was in Glasgow. I don't know if we checked out everything here. Let's go search for that taxi. Let's do a search for the miscarriage. There's more here. Let's check it out.
Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents. Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
Oh, there we saw a glimpse again of the perpetrator. And I think it's starting to look like someone who is not the woman that we are interrogating. But I might be wrong. So, there was a keyword here, infertile. Let's check out the last video.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then...
So in there we saw the perpetrator again, but in the other clip she spoke as if she had the miscarriage herself, and in this clip she spoke as if Hannah had the miscarriage. So there's a divergence there that doesn't add up. Let's search for Glacier. That's where she said Simon worked, I guess.
A mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the Glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. Oh, it's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle.
So it's a mobile phone. Let's check out the next video.
I did. Well, we met when we were 17, both working at the Glaziers.
17. She might provide more information about the initial meeting. Check out this video.
No. Everyone loved Simon. He's a glazier, he doesn't have much money. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
She mentioned something about money, that the family didn't have a lot of money. Let's try the mobile phone. Nothing. So here's two videos. Let's check those.
Sure, I think. I do all the bills and paperwork and handle all the money stuff, so it should be easy for me to find. Do you want them dropped off to you?
I wonder what it was. Maybe if you search for bills, I'll just try it really quickly. No, that doesn't work. Let's go back to money. Check out the last video.
If you put me on You've Been Framed, I want the money.
Yeah, that was not too useful. She did mention framed. She keeps saying that she didn't do it, so if she didn't do it, someone would want to frame her, so let's try that. That doesn't help. So this is connected to money, but that doesn't help either. I'm going out on a limb here. So let's try to do a search for Sunday. And the rock. So here's 2 more videos, let's check those.
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong.
She mentioned a witness, I think. Because she said someone might have seen where he went.
No, no one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone summoned you from the rock.
Alright, so there's a plumber. Let's do a search for a witness first and then the plumber. Nothing on the witness. Nothing on the plumber. What else have we got here? There's something about a barmaid named Helen. Let's try February. Something about speeding. There's one video here. Let's check that.
You must be desperate for leads if you're getting hung up over 6-month-old speeding tickets.
Let's see if we missed something here. Gladstone Street, that's where they lived. That's all there is. Let's see if we can find more on the midwife. Here's one thing. Let's play that.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Well, it's not hard to remember what happened last week, so yeah, she's probably not that healthy. She loves fairy tales. There's 3 videos here. That's interesting. Let's see.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
That's the infatuation talking. Well, she has a tattoo in these clips, so we should search for tattoo when we are done watching these clips.
Simon never cheated on me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale. You do what you can.
No, life isn't a fairy tale when your husband ends up dismembered in the basement. So a keyword there, cheated. He might have cheated on her and she might have murdered him. Who knows? And this was the tattoo. I need to do a search for that, so I'll just put it here so I don't forget. Let's watch the last clip.
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real-life fairy tale.
Well, that's the story of Florence, I think. So let's search for the tattoo. So here's 4 videos. That's interesting. Let's check out the first one.
No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not books so much, or watching TV. He likes TV.
So he has a scar. What's the next video?
Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Alright, so that might be interesting to know why it is an apple and a snake. It's probably from the First Testament that the snake tempts Adam and Eve to eat an apple, and they are expelled from heaven, I guess, something like that. Let's check the next video.
So I moved out. Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist.
So she has no roots. Don't exist. That might be a little bit of a long shot, but I'll put down those words. Let's check the next clip.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo.
Eve.
Told me it was a palindrome. Well, that would impress me.
So that's from the First Testament. That's correct.
I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
So her story is that she was cheating with Simon. Simon was married to Hannah, and we are talking to Eve, and Eve was cheating with Simon. That would give her motive, I guess. Here's 4 videos for cheated. What happened here? Chit chat. How's it going down there? You done? So we can enter a message here. Actually, I can't write anything here. So I can't respond to this at all. I can't write anything. We have 4 videos here for cheated, and we also found some more keywords when we searched for the tattoo. But this is all we have time for in this episode, and we'll continue in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.